Hey, I've got news that changes everything. I don't know what's coming against you. I don't know what you're facing. I don't know what you woke up thinking about. I don't know what kept you up last night, wide awake or tossing and turning. I don't know what you're thinking about, what's consuming your mental, psychological bandwidth. But I've got some good news, and it does change everything. I'm Pastor Cary. This is the Growing in the Gospel YouTube channel. And I'm glad that you've joined me and clicked play. And I hope you'll stick around for the next few minutes. We won't be long, but we are starting a new psalm today. We're slow walking through the Psalms and other things. Later today, we will release the first study in our series through the book of Revelation. It's actually the second, but last week was more introductory work about the purpose and promises of Bible prophecy in and of itself. Today, later today, look for that Revelation video. But right now, for a few minutes, I want to introduce you to Psalm 95. This is a favorite psalm during the Thanksgiving season, so we're coming into fall. And I want to tell you a little bit about the background context of a psalm like this. God is a joyful, jubilant, festive God. He is fun. In fact, I almost titled this video, 3 reasons I feel bad for atheists. But when you do that, then, they search atheism, and all of a sudden you just get all the trolls and the hatred and the vitriol. Not that I'm afraid of that. I just didn't want it to be a distraction to me or to you. But I do feel bad for people that don't know or don't have or don't believe in God, because it's kind of like not believing in your birthday, or not believing in Christmas morning when people want to give you gifts, or not believing in an inheritance that, a relative wants to give you. It's sad. The joy, the celebratory context, the life, the strength, the hope, the forgiveness, the grace, the mercy, the amazing journey, the adventure of walking through life, knowing God and interacting with Him on a personal level and having a relationship with Him based on Jesus. I wouldn't want life without that. I wouldn't want to go through life without a reason to sing, because life gives us a lot of things that take away our joy, or crush our hopes, or dash our desires, or fail our dreams. Life always is going to fall short in some way. And even if you get all your dreams, even if everything comes true, it's going to all go away. You don't live forever. Well, this earth, this body doesn't last forever. You can live forever, but not in this body and in this life. So no matter how good you have it, even right now, it's going to all wind down for you at some point. And that doesn't have to be the end. It doesn't have to be sad even. And Psalm 95 gives us a sense of it. This psalm would have probably been sung or used during the feasts, and especially the Feast of Tabernacles. Now, tabernacle is not a word we use a lot today. It means tent. And feast is a festival, festivating, festive, jubilant, joy, celebratory. Around October every year, the children of Israel, our October, not theirs, they didn't have an October, but the harvest season was ending. They're transitioning into a new season. And God said, I want you to come to Jerusalem. I want everybody to come. Big family reunion. And I want you to make the journey, however many days that takes, take off work. We're going to spend a week in Jerusalem. We're going to have a big party. And the first part of the week, we're going to repent and atone for sins. We're going to bring sacrifices, and we're going to carry out a little bit of work that we need to do to recognize the only basis of us being able to have a relationship and celebrate and joy is mercy and grace. And so you bring your offerings and your blood sacrifices, and that's going to all picture what Jesus does on the cross one day as the final sacrifice. But that will represent your faith and my atoning work and my grace upon you and my mercy. And based on that shed blood, we're going to then enter into a full week of celebration and festive feasting. It's going to be a giant family reunion. We're going to sing, we're going to dance, we're going to eat, we're going to be family, and it's going to be so fun because we're going to call this the Festival of Tents. You're going to get a week off work plus your travel time both ways. So for like Jesus' family, this would have been 3 weeks, a week of travel, a week in Jerusalem, and a week going back to Nazareth. And during that week, you're going to camp. You're going to live in a tent. You're going to pitch a tent somewhere around the city of Jerusalem, and you're going to have these lights, and we're going to light up these, like this Olympic torch, these lights in the temple grounds. We're going to light the whole place up, and it's going to be a radiant golden glow all around the city. And that's going to be representative of my presence among you and my light within you and your purpose to be light to the world. And we're just going to feast and celebrate. And this was a triumphant time. It was a time they would bring of the excess of their harvest, and they would worship God. And after their blood sacrifices, they would then give free will offerings. And those offerings were of the abundance of their harvests and their flocks. The overage, the blessing, the margin. God gave them too much, more than they needed, so that they would have enough to give him back. He still does this for us today. It's why we give to our local church, tithes and offerings, and through the church to missions and works around the world. I believe God's present-day storehouse, like the temple, is his church. It's his work. Jesus is building his church all over the world. And so wherever you are, I encourage you to give faithfully and generously and lavishly and trustingly of the first fruits of your income to the church, a gospel-centered, mission-minded, soul-reaching, Christian discipling, disciple-multiplying church. You can never make a better investment. That's what they did. They would honor God with their offerings. And then you know what God said? Now feast, celebrate. I got to be honest with you. I got to tell you something. I have this heart. I always want to feed people at our church. We have coffee and donuts when people arrive at church, and then when we have new members, we have big lunches and we host barbecues, and we cater in food, and then we have this thing at the end of the year for all of our 50 plus age group, and we honor them and celebrate them, and we call that the legacy lunch. We give them gifts, and we cater and we plate food and serve them, and just every fellowship at our church, I just love to have food. Whether everybody brings it, whether we buy it and cater it, we have a big budget at Emmanuel for blessing people with food. And I'll tell you why. Because Jesus did. God did. God orchestrated a rhythm to the life in the nation of Israel where they came together for feasts. And every time he fed them well. And their feast was a celebration. And it just shows how fun he is and how awesome he is, how good-hearted he is. So the offerings they gave him of the blessings of their harvest, he then turned around and said, now eat it. Spend the next week eating this and celebrating. It's this feast that Jesus goes to in the middle of the Gospel of John, and over several chapters has much dialogue with the religious leaders and with the people, presenting himself as the water of life, presenting himself as the bread of life, presenting himself, declaring himself as the light of the world, and saying, if anyone is thirsty, come to me. If anyone is hungry, come to me. If anyone needs light and love and life, come to me. So this feast held a very special place in the heart of God and in the heart of Jesus. And a psalm like Psalm 95 would have been sung at a feast like this. And what I want to leave with you today, and I'm going to be short today, is that if you know Jesus, you have a reason to sing today. And all of that feasting and celebrating, whether it's Old Testament Israel or whether it's New Testament church, and we're doing potlucks and barbecues, all of that is the blessing of God and the community of God, the people of God, celebrating the promise of God. And Jesus said that he would not partake in the Passover meal until we are there in the kingdom with him. And call that the marriage supper of the Lamb. Maybe there's continued feasting as we go forward in heaven and in the kingdom. Of course, there will be in the kingdom of Jesus. It just blows my mind to think that we're going to eat in heaven. I talked about this Big E. The Big E is a big fair in New England, and I like to go to it just for the food. I don't need to ride rides. I don't need to buy stuff. I don't need to look at booths of crafts. I love the food. And I found this place this year that was sirloin tips and mashed potatoes and sauteed mushrooms. And oh my goodness, it was amazing. And then I found a pizza place that was out of this world. And then I love these little mini fried, sugared donuts. And oh my goodness, We're going to be able to eat that stuff and more heavenly food. Who can't even begin to think how it's going to taste, how wonderful it's going to be, and how healthy it's going to be for you. You know how on earth everything that tastes good is not healthy, right? So we have to moderate it and be careful. In heaven, we're not going to need to worry about health. Nothing can touch us. You're not going to need any Tums or any Alka-Seltzer or Pepsid. You're not going to need anything. No medications. Pharmaceuticals are out of business. Everyone's going to be healthy, perfectly healthy, indestructible body. We're going to eat so good. All of this is a foreshadowing of the life of celebration we're going to have. First at the marriage supper of the Lamb, then in the millennial reign of Jesus, and then in the eternal state, in eternity, in the new heaven and the new earth. It's going to be amazing. And so Psalm 95 gives us a picture of really kind of three eras. First, ancient Israel, celebrating at the Feast of Trumpets or the Feast of Tabernacles. I think, now that I say this, I think the Feast of Tabernacles was earlier in the year, and I'm mixing the Feast of Trumpets and Tabernacles. Forgive me for that. But the second sense is, the modern day, the present day church, that we fellowship. We're a community of believers. We love each other. We enjoy the blessings of God together. And then the future sense is, Revelation, which we're studying, and it's going to happen. There's an invitation. This is the invitation of God for all of humanity to come to him and sing and celebrate. So let's read it together, and then I'm going to wrap it up for today. Oh, come, let us sing unto the Lord. Let us make a joyful noise unto the rock of our salvation. Let us come before his presence with thanksgiving and make a joyful noise unto him with psalms. For the Lord is a great God and a great King above all gods. In his hands are the deep places of the earth. The strength of the hills is his also. The sea is his, and he made it, and his hands formed the dry land. Oh, come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord, our Maker. I love the phrase, let us make a joyful noise unto the Lord, unto the rock of our salvation. You don't need to be a good singer or a musician. You just need to be able to make noise. And God says you can make a joyful noise. Can I encourage you today? Don't make a murmuring noise. Don't make a complaining noise. Don't make a griping noise. Don't make an angry noise. Don't make a depressing noise. Make a joyful noise. Use your words, use your lips to love the Lord, and bless others. Make a thanking noise. I don't know what you're facing, but I know you have a lot to say thank you for. And you're at next level Christianity when you can actually look at the thing that hurts you and say, thank you, Lord, for that, because I know you're going to turn it into good. I know you're going to reverse the story. So come into his presence with thanksgiving and make a joyful noise unto him with psalms. God invites you to live in that place by faith today. And so this does truly, absolutely change everything. If you don't know Jesus, you can come to him by faith and receive his mercy and grace, and you can really have something to sing about and anticipate in your eternal heavenly state. And if you do know Jesus, then you can sing today. So make a joyful noise, celebrate him, thank him for all that he's done for you, and have a good day. I'm praying for you, and I will see you tomorrow.